15 Things You Didn't Know About China. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello Aluxers, and welcome back to another fascinating video. Today, we're looking at the country with the largest population in the world, China. One of the world's earliest civilizations and now one of the most powerful, China has been ruled by dynasties historically and is now communist. That doesn't mean it's a universally simple and modest society, though. It's one of the fastest growing economies in the world, and thanks to their investment and exports, its diaspora has spread throughout the world too, spreading Chinese culture to the US, Australia, Britain, and beyond. Because Alux.com is dedicated to becoming the world's best resource on the most interesting countries and destinations, we just had to bring you 15 things you didn't know about China. Number 1. 30 million Chinese people live in caves. Many people in the Shaanxi province have taken a stand against high living costs and live in caves dug into the sides of mountains. Costing around $30 a month, they're a very cheap option for the nation's poor and vary dramatically in comfort level. Some have no plumbing or electricity, and some have been completely renovated. The caves are so energy efficient and affordable, if they have energy that is, that many refuse to move to a traditional home once they're settled. Number 2. The Chinese have invented and discovered many incredible things long before the rest of the world. China is particularly famous for its inventions, including paper money, gunpowder, the compass, silk, and alcohol fermentation. Many of their creations are taken by explorers and introduced to Europe and the rest of the world, but it's the Chinese who can claim ownership. Marco Polo is rumored to have taken ice cream from China. It actually has nothing to do with the Italians. Chinese doctors were also the first to discover that blood is pumped around the body by the heart in the 2nd century BC. This wouldn't be known in Europe until the 17th century. Number 3. In Imperial China, it was popular for wealthy men and women to grow their little fingernail extremely long. Growing the little fingernail became extremely popular among the wealthy. The longer the fingernail, the higher their rank. Like many trends of the wealthy, including heeled shoes and pale skin, it demonstrates that their extreme wealth means they don't have to lift a finger. Literally, many would wear gold and silver guards to decorate and protect their nails from breaking. Number 4. The one-child policy has led to a potential future marriage crisis. China's one-child policy was introduced in 1979 to combat overpopulation, but because so many parents have chosen to prioritize having a boy rather than a girl, there are now 32 million more boys than girls in China. It's predicted that this imbalance is now so severe, tens of millions of men are going to be unable to find anyone to get married to. Number 5. The richest person in China fines his staff for breaking his company's dress code rules. Wang Jialin owns Dalian Wanda Group, China's largest real estate company, and is known for being a bit of a disciplinarian. His rules are so specific. One even references the fact that staff should remove their coats before riding in the elevator. Breaking his dress code rules can result in being fined or even fired. Number 6. China's bullet train is the fastest legal way to travel on land. China's high-speed railway system was introduced in 2007 and now caters to 1.44 billion passengers every year. Their fastest train, the Shanghai Maglev, has been known to reach 302 miles per hour, which is unthinkable in a car. The train is named Maglev because of its magnetic levitation mechanism, meaning it never actually touches the rails as it travels at top speed. Number 7. Mainland China's most expensive home is literally named Utopia. China's most expensive house is a 1,663-acre estate named Taohuayan, which translates as both Utopia and Peace Blossom Land. Priced at $149 million, the home is on its own private island in the middle of Suhu's Dushu Lake. Its gardens are modeled on a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and there are 32 bedrooms to choose from, as well as a wine cellar, lakeside swimming pool, and south-facing landscaping, which is designed around natural sunlight. If you want to hear about some of the other most expensive homes in the world, watch our video of the 10 most expensive houses in the world. Number 8. By 2025, China will have built 40 billion square meters of new skyscrapers, the equivalent of 10 New York cities. China's rapid urbanization continues, and in 20 years, the country's urban population will be 350 million people larger than the entire population of the United States. Already the most populous country in the world, China's many architects and property developers are focusing on building up to support the expanding population and workforce, and are hoping to complete 50,000 skyscrapers throughout the country by 2025. Number 9. They're ahead of the game with almost everything, but the disease often associated with medieval England still has outbreaks in areas of China. 3 people from a town in Qinghai province were killed in 2009, causing authorities to quarantine the area. The disease is spread by rodents and fleas, which is why it passes so freely between people. Some have blamed China's crowded animal markets for the continued outbreaks, but there's no specific known source. Number 10. Half of the world's counterfeit goods come from China. That fake Fendi bag you have likely has come from a wholesale shop in China. Yuma, 5 hours away from Shanghai, is known as Counterfeit Central, and the market is so big that authorities are struggling to control it. They're also aware it's become an economy of its own, with jobs relying on it, so it's unlikely to be shut down entirely. The majority of fake goods produced are sent out to buyers in South America, Africa, and the Middle East. Number 11. There are 274 protests every single day. The country's media is notoriously censored, so it's unlikely that the majority of the population would be aware of how much unrest occurs throughout the country every day. The 10,000 annual protests are mainly started in rural areas by relatively small numbers. However, there was a 1,000-strong environmental protest in Guangzhou against the building of a waste incinerator in 2009. Number 12. Chinese is the oldest written language still in use, and the first example was found written on a tortoise shell. Some of the earliest examples of written Chinese are found inscribed on an ox bone and a tortoise shell, created in the Shang dynasty as a form of fortune-telling. Questions would be inscribed, and the cracks that formed in the bone or shell when it was held over fire would show the answers. Written Chinese continued to evolve and now forms simplified Chinese and traditional Chinese. The former is commonly used in mainland China, and the latter is more common in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. Number 13. America translates as beautiful country in Chinese characters. When translated into Chinese, the names of foreign countries sound quite interesting. Some are quite flattering. Britain translates as brave land, and Sweden translates as very lucky soldiers. One of the most common translations is orchid, which seems to be the Chinese word for land. For example, Ireland translates to love your orchid. Poland is wave orchid, and Finland is orchid fragrance. Number 14. The Terracotta Army was found by accident. One of the most famous architectural discoveries, the Terracotta Army, is a sculpture of 8,000 individual soldiers in Lintong District, Xi'an. The sculptures are part of the Emperor Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum, representing his army, and each has unique facial features and height, depending on their role. The Terracotta Army was discovered by farmers in 1974 when they were digging a well. Turns out they had chanced upon one of the most extravagant funerals ever. Number 15. The Forbidden City was literally forbidden to commoners. The Chinese Imperial Palace was the Beijing home of the Emperor of China from 1420 to 1912. A phenomenal architectural achievement, it's definitely a home fit for an emperor and was considered completely out of bounds to commoners, despite needing the help of 1 million commoners to build it. Now a museum, it's open to the public and not particularly forbidden anymore. They have banned selfie sticks, though. It's almost impossible to know enough about China, with its complex and rich history, huge population, and diverse mix of cultures. It's been known for many things and is now mainly known for its rapid expansion and complex political situation. One of the things is for certain, though. Despite the unrest, wealth gap, and state control, it's now set to be one of the most powerful countries in the world for a long time. If you could take a trip to this fascinating country, what would be your first stop? Would you be keen to see the famous historical sites and take a tour of the 9,000-room Forbidden City? Or would you be more keen to traverse China's rural landscapes and see a different side of life? Oh, you're still here? Here's another bizarre and incredible fact about China. When the Qing dynasty collapsed in 1912, 5 different time zones were introduced to the country, ranging from 5 to 8 hours after Greenwich Mean Time. The Communist Party consolidated it all in 1949, and now there is just one standard Beijing time across the country, despite the fact that the country is around the same size as the USA. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to Alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.